what's causing all this market turmoil? Well, we're about to find out. Joining us live right now is the Managing Director of Morgan Stanley, Peter Churchouse. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Churchouse. What exactly do you think is causing the stock market to drop like this?
Well, I think the principal reason really is still the fear in the U.S. that interest rates are going to start a very strong upward movement over the next few weeks. And that could, in fact, lead to a withdrawal of funds from the mutual funds who have been heavily investing into the Asian stock markets over the past year or so. So I think that's the main driving force behind it at this point in time anyway.
Mr. Churchouse, so far we have not seen the Hong Kong Banking Association react to raising the interest rates here. Do you think that's going to happen soon?
Well, I think in the medium to longer term it's inevitable. It looks like the U.S. has gone through the bottom of its interest rate decline, and if we go forward from here with the risk of inflation rising, I think interest rates in the U.S. are going to head higher for sure. And if that is the case, because of the pegged currency link between the Hong Kong dollar and the U.S. dollar, then rates in Hong Kong must also rise by definition.
Now, also, it appears that the U.S. may be considering making concessions to the human rights issue. Do you think that the MFN status will be renewed?
Well, I think it probably will. At the end of the day, both countries have got too much at stake to see it fall apart. However, I think there are risks, and the risks have increased in recent weeks. I think the Clinton administration is perhaps caught up a little bit with the Whitewater affair at the present moment, and the whole area of human rights is a very vague and intangible and emotionally charged issue, which could actually end up becoming rather messy. So I think the risks have increased, but at the end of the day, I think MFN probably will be renewed.
There was some concern, actually, that the U.S. President Bill Clinton would get pressure because of the Whitewater affair, and therefore that would change his decision. Do you think that's going to have an impact on his decision?
I think it's not so much the impact on the decision. It's more that less time and less focus at high level in the administration is directed towards other issues. And so things like MFN and relations with China take, if you like, a back seat for a time. And that's a real danger here, because I think at this point in time we're at a critical juncture in dealing with China over MFN, and I think it's very important that high-level attention within the administration is brought to bear on the problem, and Whitewater perhaps detracts from that at the present time.
Very quickly, you earlier last week stated that the Hang Seng Index may drop to the 7,000 mark. Is that going to happen, and what does that mean for investor confidence?
Well, I think there are three conditions here. Firstly, if MFN is not renewed, I think definitely you will see the Hang Seng Index plunge. I think if interest rates go up 200 or 300 basis points quickly, that would also cause a plunge in the index. The third danger, I think, is that the Chinese economy, which is seriously overheating, does go into a tailspin, and that could have the same sort of effect. So it's these three conditions, I think, which must be present before we see the index down that low.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. That was Peter Churchouse, Managing Director of Morgan Stanley.